The following podcast is improvised satire and all characters are fictional.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dean Ardenfell. This is the podcast where I interview employees of the many subsidiaries of my favorite multinational conglomerate, Hogswood Cooper Media. Welcome to the corporation. My first guest is the technical director at Exodus Park, the 1/100th size replica of the Red Sea located in Adelaide, Australia. This $800 million Christian tourist attraction reenacts the parting of the Red Sea by Moses at 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m. each day. And my guest is responsible for making the magic behind these scenes. In her spare time, she enjoys making tiny flip books. Please welcome Lonnie Larue.
Hi.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm good, Dean. How are you?
I'm fine. So this park is really like a living museum, huh?
Yes, mate. Yeah, it's a
living
living,
Bible
breathing,
museum.
sweating, bleeding museum.
Well, I hope there's not too much bleeding in the museum, huh?
Well, it's a Red Sea, mate, so...
Oh, it is the Red Sea. That's true.
A lot of blood, mate.
Now, I always thought of the Red Sea as just like a geographical thing, but is it actually red?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's bright red.
Okay. Well, at least the Red
crimson?
Sea... The one that you have in your museum is red.
Yes, mate, yeah.
Wow, that's so it just looks like The Shining or something, like just a sea full of blood almost.
Yeah, but it's not real, mate.
No, of course. Well, you're the technical director, so you know all the things that you do, the tricks to make the magic work, right?
It's syrup. It's juice.
Oh, really?
It's very thick syrup.
Wow. Okay. It seems like you could have just taken water and added some like coloring to it. Why syrup?
Well, you see, it's like a texture thing, and it's like, it isn't blood, but I want everyone to think it's blood.
Sure. Okay. I imagine, too, like what you're doing physically, just to jump right into the technical side of things here, when the moment happens and the actor who plays Moses puts his staff up and then the Red Sea parts, the liquid really does sort of like part in the middle and then go up both sides of the wall.
Yeah, that was tricky.
I don't know how you do that, but I imagine
it's
having a viscous...
electromagnetic fields.
Really?
Yeah.
So having that viscous substance probably helps to...
Because you hide the tiny magnets.
Oh, okay.
In the liquid.
In the liquid. There's tiny magnets all throughout the liquid.
Yeah, it's why it has to be a syrup. So it's dense and it's thick and it's covering up the magnets.
Wow.
And then I flip a switch when Moses raises his hands.
Okay.
Then I flip a switch, right? And then the magnets, they turn magnetize and they go up into the sides.
Okay, great. So when, I mean, that's an incredible moment when that happens, but you really work up to it. It takes like a full half an hour and there's like, oh no, how are we going to get across? And you have people dressed as Israelites. And then behind that, the tour group, and then Moses leads the Israelites and the tour group straight through this like perfectly dry pathway through the middle of the 1/100th sea.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's my favorite part of my job.
Have you ever had any accidents or whatnot? It seems, I mean, you are taking a whole tour group straight through an area where the viscous liquid on either side of them is magnetized to the walls.
Well, yeah.
You have had some...
Well, there was one time, before the liquid became a syrup, when it was purely water.
Okay.
The magnets were not magnetized.
Okay.
As strong as they should have been, and they weren't, like, the water wasn't connecting to the magnets the way it needs to.
Sure.
So halfway through the walk, the water kind of just slipped away and went back into it connected again.
Filled back in again.
It filled back in, and everyone was swirling around in this red water.
I see.
And we lost maybe one.
Okay. And did people tell you after you accidentally flooded the chamber and drowned at least one person that you should have tested it more thoroughly before you had real people in it? No, that was never...
No one ever said that to me.
No one ever said that to you. So I guess...
But people implied it.
Okay.
People implied it.
Sure.
No one actually said it to me very blankly.
Yeah.
But people implied it, and then they said, don't you remember when I said that? And I said, no, you never said it to me. You implied that I should be more cautious.
Well, people love to hate on innovation. And, sometimes innovation, just like in the Bible, there's a lot of sacrifice involved, right? And so you've got a situation where you're doing something no one's ever done before. And, you got to break a few eggs, right?
Yes.
Sure.
And the person we lost was old.
Well, it does feel, you feel bad, but you don't feel as bad, right?
He was so excited to be there.
I mean, when you talk about ways you could go, if you've lived a full life, if you have to go as a part of a biblical reenactment. It's almost a straight line to heaven at that point,
That's
right?
what I told to the family.
I bet. Yeah. People like to call this an anti-science thing because it's set 3,000 years ago, and then you have a historical exhibit where like dinosaurs and humans coexisted, and these animatronics. How do you respond to people who say this is like not accurate to science?
Well, science is a spectrum, and science is a spectrum, and we just we like to dance around it. And we find a more, I say, honest angle with science.
Okay.
Like, I would not say that we're not scientific, but we are able to see through science.
I see.
Science to us is, it's see-through.
It's permeable.
Yeah.
Unlike the red viscous liquid in your tank.
It's not rigid, mate.
I see.
So we just take a more, a biblical approach to science. Like dinosaurs and humans absolutely were alive at the same time.
Yeah, and so I guess I can see what you're saying is that like you're not saying dinosaurs never existed, which some religious people do.
There are bones. There are bones, people.
I mean,
but there are also bones of people.
Technically, they're fossils, which is sort of the absence of bone. But right, is that?
Well, that's not what I agree with.
Okay.
The Bible says there are bones.
Oh, they just
the
don't
Bible
mention
did
dinosaurs.
not bring up fossils.
No,
so there's
true.
no talk of fossils in the Bible.
No, nor dinosaurs.
Well, some iterations.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess if you read into certain things, you can find anything.
Exactly.
In the Bible. That's the great thing about the Bible. So you're like, we're going to concede that there were dinosaurs, but we're going to make them 3,000 years ago and living at the time of Moses.
Yeah, just why not?
Why not? Indeed. Yeah. I mean, this is. At a certain point, you're creating entertainment as well, right? So you gotta make it fun for the families, and right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just trying to spice up the Bible a bit, I guess. Bring it into the 21st century.
Yeah, yeah. And the guy who plays Moses is so great. Where'd you find him?
Oh, that was a year-long search. Just
really?
Talent scouts. We had submissions from all over the globe, really. Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
And then he wasn't our first pick, actually, but the man that we chose before magically disappeared. And then this guy, he just emailed us and he was like, I have a feeling that you need me. Wow. And I was like, wow, what gave you that? And he's like, I feel like you are looking for a new Moses. And I was like, you're right. And then the old Moses, his body actually just showed up a few weeks later, actually, just like in the bottom of the pier.
Interesting. So, wow, so many water things happening here. So someone auditioned, got the gig, then someone else really wanted the gig. The first guy disappeared at the bottom of the pier, drowned, and then suddenly this new guy. Was there any suspicion cast upon your current Moses?
I mean, no, because he was out of town.
He had an alibi.
He had,
Are there any other ancillary exhibits at the park or things you'd love to do or see from a technical standpoint? Anything you're working on?
There's like a sand pit.
A sand pit?
Yeah, it's a pit of sand.
Wow.
And you get to go walk around and just feel what it was like.
Oh, like walking through the desert for 40 years or what have you.
Exactly. And you can, you can wear it cross if you want on your back, if it's, if you're interested in that. Just to feel, just put yourself in people's shoes.
Okay, so this isn't a specific Bible verse. This is just a general idea of like, walking in the desert is hard. If you want to
have you ever heard of the term world building?
Sure.
It's like that. It's so people have a real understanding of what it was like to be in the Bible.
I see.
I
think I have seen photos of this in the brochure, and it seems like it's essentially just like a small area where there's a lot of sand on top of a treadmill, and then there's like a heat lamp over you.
Yeah, it's
so that
really
you're
hot, mate.
You're just walking interminably, and you're just sweating and sweating and sweating.
Yeah, you have to sign a little thing.
Oh, yeah.
Just let you know if you get heat stroke, it's not on us. You know it's a possibility, because it was a possibility to get heat stroke back in biblical times.
Right, sure.
And when you're carrying a cross, that makes everything even more hard, and you're sweating a lot.
I see. Wow. And so, it does seem like you're putting some of your guests in a little bit of danger here with, heat stroke and potential drowning. And do you get a lot of people, trying to sue you or trying to...
No, people thank me.
Oh, yeah?
They thank me and they say, thank you for making me feel more alive because I feared for my life.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I think of it as a service, really.
And also, the miracles only come when you're truly faithful, right? So, like, if you've got a doubter in the crowd when you're about to walk through the Red Sea that's been parted, that doubter, who's to say that doubter's lack of faith wasn't responsible for the malfunction that you had in your Red Sea project?
Oh, yes. Yeah, there was one atheist the day that we had the malfunction, and
interesting. That's
he was
not a
also
coincidence.
Yeah.
That can't be a coincidence.
No.
Yeah. Wow.
No.
I assume you're a churchgoer yourself, huh?
Yes.
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 You hesitated a little. When
No,
you said that.
I would say that church is in me, so I don't need to go to it.
I see.
It's more of a thing where I can just close my eyes. There I am in the church, hearing all the stuff and the words, and
The stuff in the words, yeah.
and the sensation is great. I got
Sure.
it. I did it,
Yeah.
and then I can just move on with my day.
It's
It's the same thing with the Bible.
Oh.
I just look at it, haven't actually read it,
interesting.
but I just know it.
I see. You are kind of surrounded by all the trappings of it every day.
Exactly.
So, yeah, you probably through osmosis.
Yeah.
And you have a hobby of making tiny flip books of things.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Gosh, I love it.
What's the appeal there?
That is it is so fun, mate. Like,
Yeah?
it's just tiny. It's so small, but it carries so many memories, like of the day that we opened the park and the day that we found Moses dead in the pier.
Oh, wow.
And then when we found the real
Are
Moses.
these like many photographs, or are these many drawings back to back to back?
Yeah, they're stencils.
They're stencils.
Yeah.
So you have to create the story of the time you found the guy drowned in the pier in stencils that gradually change over the course of one long, tiny flip book.
Yes. It's so...
That sounds very challenging.
It takes so much of my time. That's why I don't have time to go to church. Church is in me while I'm making these stencils.
Okay.
And it takes so long, but the stencils just add I could free draw it, but I don't want to. I want to
see.
make the stencil so then I can spray it with a little spray.
Wow.
It's waterproof.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So they're
just in case it
waterproof
gets
flip
dropped
books.
in the water.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Wow. Fascinating stuff. And I'm going to get to my second guest here, but I hope you'll stick around, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. Well, folks, my second guest today is getting a bird's eye view of the stars. We'll find out what that means, but first let's pause and hear a quick word from our sponsor. We'll be right back. And we're back. I'd like to remind you at this point, as I do every show, that I, Dean Ardenfell, am not and have never been an employee of Hogswood Cooper Media or any of its subsidiaries. Okay, we've been talking to Lonnie Larue from Exodus Park, and now I'd like to bring in my second guest, who works for a totally different subsidiary of Hogswood Cooper. He is the lead drone photojournalist for Underbelly 2.0, the entertainment tabloid that's gotten more non-consensual aerial photos of celebrities than any other magazine in the past 10 years. He has piloted his state-of-the-art drone over the homes of Goldie Hawn, Trevor Noah, and Wolf Blitzer. On weekends, he jumps rope on the beach. Please welcome Shed Wimsley.
I'm so excited to be alive.
Are you now?
Yes, it's another day.
It's another
dollar.
day. I love the positivity.
Yeah, I've always been thought of as that way. People love being around me.
Do they really?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not always the case with a tabloid photographer.
Oh,
I
well,
noticed.
people in my life love being around me.
I see. But
Yes.
not the people you're chasing, but the people who are in your life, your circles.
If they want to have a beer at the end of the day, I'll do it. I'll
Sure,
do it. I'm not.
sure.
I have no bad blood with these people.
No, of course. It's just that's your job. That's your job is infringing upon their privacy.
Yeah.
And you're now taking that to the sky, essentially. So
Yes, I'm untouchable.
Are you?
Yes, it's a very exciting time in the world right now. I'm untouchable.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but
it's exciting because previously, like, a celebrity might have thrown a fist at you.
Yeah,
And
and
they
then
can't
they
do it.
had legal president. They had legal president
Legal
to
president.
do things. But in at least 45 states, I can take pictures of people without their permission. And
Really?
the beautiful thing is that if they break my drone, they owe me the money to replace it.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
Wow.
Like
Have you had
sometimes-
that happen before?
Oh, yeah, I do it on purpose. If I ever need a new model, if a new model of a drone comes out and I'm like, oh, baby, I need that, I will go and I'll fly one of mine like an inch away from someone's face so that they smash it.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
One time I saw Sally Fields sunning on her porch, and I went right down there. I put it about an inch away from her nose, and she put up with it for, must have been 10 minutes.
Wow.
But then she smashed it, and I was so excited.
And
All on camera.
And that's a cake and have it too situation, because then you get real close-up shots of Sally Field's face.
Yes.
Yeah.
I sell it to an AI company.
Do you?
Yeah, called Dirty Works.
Okay. And what do they do with it?
Well, we're banking right now. We haven't
I
actually
see.
put out any products, but they've got some nasty ideas and a lot of money.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's got to be a huge payday for you when you're able to bring like almost like a 3D scan of someone's face into an AI company.
Oh, yes. There's so many opportunities. I'm swimming in opportunities and money and happiness these days.
Really?
I'm really excited. And
Has anyone ever said to you that, has anyone ever pointed out that it could be that your money and happiness and ideas are coming at the gross expense of someone else's mental health?
not legally.
No.
I mean, technically they can feel that way, but there's nothing they can do about it. I'm in the sky, but I'm in a van. I'm in a van 6 miles away with a bunch of antennas on my head. And,
On your head?
Well, yeah, and you wear goggles, the first-person view, the FPV drones. Let me tell you, when we started doing this in 1985 with gas-powered helicopters,
oh wow,
oh my God, people would know we were coming from a mile away.
Model helicopters,
more than a mile,
like
actually.
model helicopters. You're saying, yeah.
But now with FPV drones, they go 250 miles an hour. I can take up if you slip up for 1 second, if your shirt falls down and you just got on your deck, I can have my cones put out. I can get clearance from the FFA. The Future Farmers of America, because they own most of the land in the areas that I go in. These people are very secluded. Yeah, I get clearance. I'm up in the air. I do a flyby from your property. I get 35 pictures, 35 angles of you with your little tingles out, and I'm out of there.
Wow.
And I've already sold it.
And that all happens before someone has a chance to pull up their top.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Sometimes if I'll go into Hollywood and there's houses in a row, I can just zip through at 200 miles an hour, come home with about a month's worth of stuff.
Wow. Incredible.
These people are always on their porches doing things.
Yeah, almost like they think they're alone.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they put, oh my God, they spend like 20 years growing these bushes around their property. You go up above them and you can see everything. They did not think, they need to start, I don't want to give them ideas, but they need to start doing trellises.
Yeah.
To cover their properties.
Yeah.
Because right now that's wide open. If I had a gun and I wanted to hurt them, I could go up there, I could shoot them.
Yeah. Well, you are shooting them just in a different way.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's a great time to be alive. I'm so excited. The things are getting wild.
I mean, if I were giving advice to these celebrities, I would say treat it almost like a World War II air base where you're putting like camouflage netting over your whole property or creating dummy versions of things to throw off the sun.
But we do have ultraviolet cameras and we can see their heat.
Wow.
So, and the resolution on these things are getting so good that I can, even though you're neon green, I can see you in your bedroom.
Wow. Yeah.
And if you're neon green, it means your temperature is really low, and I'm really worried for you. But you want to be in a reddish orange.
Oh, interesting.
So I've called the police and ambulances on a couple of famous people, and I've saved their lives because I saw that their temperatures were either really high or really low.
Wow. I mean, it's almost like you're the predator.
Yes, I've been called a predator.
Well, I meant the movie character, but I guess technically.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. They're prey.
Sure. They're your prey in a career sense.
But what would an ecosystem be if everyone was prey?
Right.
What would an ecosystem be if everyone was predator? Let's take a moment and think about that.
Well, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking, well, predators, usually their job in the ecosystem is to cull the herd of the prey. And, I mean, I guess if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen, so to speak, with a celebrity. And then onto
your porch and lay down.
Right,
and,
sure. And the great part is this technology is getting so much smaller now. I'm sure there'll be drones where you could fly right into their bedroom if you wanted to.
Yes, that is a very big theory. That is something that doesn't exist yet.
No?
No.
No. You paused when you said that, so I...
No, that's a very fascinating idea. I would love to look into it. Never experienced it.
Interesting. Never experienced...
But I imagine they're about the size of a quarter, and they can hover for about 3 minutes.
Okay.
You get and then they've got like a really wide-angle lens that'll stitch it together, and you get like a map of their room.
Okay.
Kind of like a Roomba. You know what they're doing with Roombas?
Sure.
They're mapping out people's houses and they're selling the information.
I did hear that. Yes, that there's all sorts of things like a Wi-Fi signal can tell where you are in the room, and a Roomba can tell what your
all exciting
layout
stuff
is.
about the future.
It's so exciting. We won't have to even think about anything. Stuff will just come to our house by drone and.
Yeah, I mean, I'm busy. I'm a busy person.
What?
These days.
Busy?
I'm busy. I'm a very busy guy. I mean, I've started doing what I'm calling pre-shoots. I'll just go to random properties, shoot people all over their property in hopes that they'll be famous someday, and I'll have it in my hard drive. So the moment that they land some good gig, I'll be like, well, look at this photo of them with their hands on their you-know-what, sitting on their deck.
How do you keep track of all that data? Do you just like have to remember, I remember shooting that guy once he gets famous?
I label each file. So I'll click on a folder. It will say, nasty shots, man might be famous in the next 10, 15 years. You click on that, it moves on. I think his name's Michael. He looks like a Michael. That's what that file says. You click on that. About 20, well, then there's one that says raw photos, one that says edited. So you go into the raws, that will just be about 3,000 photos, just mostly the same shot.
Yeah.
Going to edited, there's going to be about 3 beautiful shots I spent hours on.
Yeah.
Because, like, these things aren't coming straight out of camera looking good.
Of course.
These people,
Yeah.
they need to be touched up.
Edited final,
I'm not going to
edited
block out
final,
their
final.
address. I'm not a pervert.
Yeah.
You know, I don't
Yeah.
want them getting doxxed.
No.
You know, but if you ask me nicely, I'll tell you where people live. That's public knowledge.
Oh, is it?
Well, I mean, it's for safety, right?
Sure.
If you want to know where Gary Busey lives, I'll tell you.
Is that so? So you don't keep anything to yourself, really?
No.
No.
I love the information age.
Amazing. I mean, I love the positivity, as I said. You jump rope on the beach.
Yes.
What a fun hobby that is.
Yes, it's a form of resistance training.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Just because the sand is hard to
you whip
jump
it
rope
once,
on.
it stops. You whip it again, it stops. Yeah.
Now,
Which-
I mean,
I've got big arms, little legs, and we're really working on evening that out this year.
I see. Well, I know a patch of sand that you could really get your heart rate up on, and
that was quite the pickup line.
Well, it was really more of a segue.
Oh.
And so I wanted to bring my first guest back in and mention that, I don't know if you were here for that, but she's got a place, just sand on a treadmill.
I've got photos.
You do, yeah?
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I was a crime scene I sold some crime scene photos of the dead Moses from up above. I found him
That was you.
in the gully.
Wow.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we
That
have
was incredible,
drone
Mike.
footage, accurate drone footage of the victim in the pier drowned, but we also have a flip book of stencils of that event. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and which one makes the heart bleed more, metaphorically speaking?
I don't know.
Probably
mean,
the stencils, mate.
I haven't seen
I'm not
either.
trying to come at you.
No, you don't want to
Shed,
compete with, no.
but
I'm not worried. I sold those suckers.
well, this is the whole argument, I guess. Photos versus drawings.
That's
or
not an
stencils.
argument, no.
Well, there is.
No.
Because which one is more true on an emotional
You know how scary
level?
it would be if I was hanging from a drone with a notepad trying to draw these people on their decks? It
I
would
don't
take
think that's
so
what
long.
she's suggesting.
They would see my decrepit body
That-
hanging from a helicopter that's being powered by me. So on one hand, I've got a remote control powering myself. On the other hand, I've got a pencil. Now, where's the notebook? So this is like, I've hated this argument ever since it came up. The drawings versus photos.
I mean, it came up literally 30 seconds ago.
I hated it the whole time.
Well, I mean, we'll get off it then. I don't want to. I hate it when my guests are, automatically sort of bickering with one
I
another.
got pushed into a corner.
No, of course.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
mate. I
Yeah.
didn't want to come at you so strong.
I was trying to say that if you wanted a place to work on your tiny leg problem, I knew a sand-filled treadmill you could do it on.
Yeah, and we're working on making a gym.
Oh yeah,
Jesus gym.
a Jesus gym.
Jesus.
Yes.
So you did say that people could pick up crosses and hump
Yeah,
them.
well, that was what kind of launched the idea, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was now we're just, I don't know, pushing boulders and
Okay,
Hell
yeah, pushing boulders. That makes sense because like the Easter Sunday.
That's a thing, right?
Yeah.
remember, I haven't read the Bible.
No, of
but I know
course.
the gist of it. And there was a thing where there was a boulder.
Right.
I was holding over a grave, right? And then someone somehow.
This is the resurrection, the literal
That's
resurrection
I think
story.
what it's called, mate. Yeah, it
yeah.
sounds right.
Yeah.
Somehow a thing moves, and that's maybe the spirit of God or Christ, something along those lines.
Wow.
Do you know, Shed? No, actually, I
I
don't.
think the answer is Jesus. Jesus moved a rock from
Well,
his
in
own.
the gym, you
I
get
don't
to
know
be
what-
Jesus. So
Oh,
that is
yeah.
the thing, and it might help your legs, mate.
I don't know. The main appeal for me is just being in like the background of like anytime they shoot stuff down at the pier for like PBS or some show
Yeah.
down there
Yeah.
on the pier. I love being in the background trying to jump rope in the sand.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to be out in the middle of.
Are you looking for extra work? Do you want to be an extra? Is this what you're saying to me?
I've never considered being on the other side.
Wow.
Oh, well, if you're looking for a job, we're always looking for disciples and, just distressed biblical people.
Israelites, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. I'll let you think about it because it seems like you're not going to respond right now. So,
I'm just thinking. Trying
so
to think about how much I make now.
right,
How
of
much I
course.
would make as a distressed background actor. I'm trying to think if it's more or less. Because right now my rent is it's surge pricing. So my landlord...
Rent is surge.
My landlord looks at how busy the town is at the moment, and he raises or lowers the rent. So right now I'm getting freaking hit from every angle.
I'm going to tell you right now, I am going to get that landlord on this podcast. I'm calling it right now. So
I would love to be on here with him.
that would be great. I would love that. So, Shed, while you're thinking about this proposal, this indecent proposal that's been made of you, I did want to ask: when people, you said you're 6 miles away from the subject in a van with a helmet on your head, with antennas on your head. Anybody ever come knocking on your van, asking what you're doing, or any celebrities ever find you at the source instead of just whapping your drone out of the sky?
No, we've got a lot of things set up to make sure no one goes near my van.
Do you?
One thing, I have a gyroscope in the middle that makes it rock back and forth so people assume I'm getting busy.
Okay.
And they don't come nearby.
I see.
And then I have a large neon sign that says, if the vans are rocking, don't come and knock it.
And when
That's
you're
set up at the end of the
when you're
parking lot.
piloting the drone joystick and your van is rocking back and forth, is that difficult?
Well, so that's why I wear the goggles, because my vision is somewhere else. My body definitely is getting rocked back and forth, but
Okay.
I fix that by
I'm
getting
just picturing a very
bus driver's
because
seat.
you're very top heavy with like large arms and tiny legs. So it must be very difficult to keep your balance.
Well, you know that building on the Chicago River that has water up the middle of it so that when it rocks, the water goes the opposite way and it always evens out? That's my
Sure.
body in this van.
I
When the
see.
van goes left, my top goes right.
Yes.
My eyes are in a different world. My fingers are locked in, and there I am getting a perfect video of
You just-
Donny
right.
Osmond just licking everything in his backyard.
He licks things in his backyard.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you're just the bobblehead doll of drone photographers, essentially.
That's been said before. I've been called a predator, and I've been called the bobblehead of drone photographers.
Wow. Wow.
But it's a beautiful day to be alive. I'm excited. Got some great
sure is.
shoots lined up today, and I'm ready to go.
Great. Well, thank you both for joining us, and I really do want to get you guys to working together, even if it's not as a background extra, because I feel like there was some initial tension, but almost in the way that like a romantic comedy starts with two people hating each other and then ending up together, right?
Enemies to lovers.
Enemies to lovers. Is that what you said?
Enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
Enemas to levers. That's what I heard.
Great.
It's biblical, actually.
Okay.
That storyline was first made
Yeah.
and written in the
Mary
Bible.
Magdalene, that hussy.
Yep.
She was obsessed with Jesus.
So I don't think anyone at this table has ever read the Bible. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Well, I've listened to it on because I do have to keep myself busy in the
Yeah.
van, so I've listened to it on audiobooks.
Uh-huh.
It's
I did want to ask you, Lonnie, because there is a voice of God, literally,
Yes.
that tells Moses he can part the Red Sea. Who is this? Who's the celebrity who does the voice of God in your?
We wanted George Clooney
Mm.
and we wanted Alec Baldwin.
Mm-hmm.
We got neither of those.
Right.
So it's actually my granddad,
Oh, okay. That explains.
Kevin.
That explains why he has a very thick Australian accent.
Yeah. We were like, granddad, stop it. Like, tone it down a
He
little
calls
bit.
Moses mate a lot.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
But it's nice.
I've got photos of all those actors you just listed. I know what they're doing when they're not acting for you.
Okay, tell us what George Clooney.
Yeah, why couldn't George Clooney be the voice of God?
Well, funny thing, George Clooney was over at Alec Baldwin's house. They were on the porch doing the old back rub trick, where it's kind of like a train. It's like a gentle.
It's like what you do.
They're
at,
running
like,
a gentle train.
It's like what you do in a high school chorus warm up.
Yes. It's just like a high school chorus warm up between Alec Baldwin and George Clooney. Oh, it's beautiful. It's like a snake eating its own tail, and they do this out in the sun. It's very obvious. I think they like it. But But I do want to mention, if anyone ever looks up and waves and shows that they're happy I'm nearby, I get out of there.
Yeah, you don't want that.
I don't want them liking it. It ruins the whole thing, and it's worthless at that point.
Yeah, nobody wants a tabloid photo of a celebrity smiling and waving.
My rent's $26,000 this month. I've got to get some good stuff. Last month it was $100 because there's a